Actually, long before 2010, then Mayor Margot Bailey and the council at the time were discussing something that has been put forward in the comprehensive plan, which was this idea that we have these gateways into Chestertown, one of them being Route 20, and many of you recall the what we call the Nicholson site, a truck storage site essentially. Not a pretty picture and not something that I think tells people that we're a sustainable town that we obviously wanted to do something about this. So in 2010, the town of Chestertown purchased the property. The town did so with the help of a Maryland Heritage Areas Authority grant. We got $50,000 towards the purchase of the property. And then subsequent to that, with guidance from the mayor and council, we ended up applying for and receiving a DNR Community Parks and Playgrounds grant for $155,000. So as part of that grant, some of the things that we stressed, and this is true for the Maryland Heritage Areas Authority grant and the Community Parks and Playgrounds grant, we really had to flesh out what the goals are, some of which I've already mentioned. But that was to enhance the entrance into town, and this is a scenic byway, designated highway, to improve recreational opportunities for the town of Chestertown and Kent County, to create a trailhead for the Gilcrest Rail Trail, phase 3 of which, adjacent to the park, is being developed right now. Also to address the Kent County Watershed Improvement Plan by reducing impervious surfaces and planting native trees and grasses. And then lastly, to educate the public about the importance of the adjacent wetlands and history of this important crossroads in Chestertown and Kent County history. That was especially true for that Maryland Heritage Areas Authority grant because it's administered by the Maryland Historical Trust, so the history of that area was very important. Now, this park, the design of the park included, of course, the things that you see here today. Parking, of course, that's essential for getting people into the park, but then grasses, native grasses, trees, and green space with perhaps some picnic tables, benches, and so forth for people coming into the park. Landscaping along Route 20 to beautify that area. A basketball court at the rear of the property, and an ADA accessible trail with an observation deck located on a mound that's there currently. So dramatic improvements to what, from an environmental standpoint, is a completely impervious site, and making and getting some drastic reductions in the amount of runoff that we're sending into Radcliffe Creek, which ends up in the Chester River. So along the way, obviously, we've had to meet a lot of regulations, but in order to comply, we've had to appear before the Kent County Planning Commission. We've had to meet with Army Corps of Engineers, Maryland Department of the Environment, Kent Soil Conservation. But it's also important to keep in mind that because this is still in Kent County, the town line is here, you can see the rail trail where that meets Route 20 is almost immediately adjacent to the current town boundary. That we have to comply with the comprehensive plans of Chestertown and Kent County. We've got a target investment zone. The plan has to be consistent with that. We have to meet the criteria of scenic byways for grant purposes. Again, there's also studies that were done by the Stories of the Chesapeake Heritage Area, and I've alluded to this earlier, that the environmental targets and stormwater targets that we're trying to achieve with this project have to be consistent with the Kent County Watershed Improvement Plan, and I sit on that committee with other people from Kent County. When we wrote the grant to DNR and to the Maryland Heritage Areas Authority, we got letters of support from Senators Pipkin, Delegate Jacobs, Hershey, and Smeagol, the Kent County Commissioners, the Maryland Historical Trust, the Chestertown County Council, the Planning Commission, Chester River Association, Historical Society of Kent County, Washington College Center for the Environment and Society. And when these grants go through the pipeline, as they're being reviewed for community parks and playgrounds, for instance, that goes to the state clearinghouse, where all of the state agencies check to make sure that the plans for this park are consistent with their goals and their regulations. So state highway, MTA, DNR, NDE, and so forth look at the plans that we've developed for the plans to ensure that we meet their requirements. This plan has been vetted by the Kent County Planning Commission. We are on the verge of getting final site plan approval from the Kent Planning Commission. The only thing that remains is an entrance permit for this entrance that comes off of Route 20. We're eliminating an entrance and reducing that to one entrance. It has to meet the current SHA standards. So that has been, in a word, onerous. It's amazing that all the work that's going into creating these positive changes, which includes the rail trail, the roundabout, and the park, they're all sort of a part of improvements to this area that includes sidewalk, a crossing, reducing speeds on Route 20 so that pedestrians can come down Flatland Road or come up the rail trail and access the park safely.